What happens if a group of 8th graders are left to their own devices, trying to figure out what the meaning of life is? What will they come up with? And will it be something that their parents would have wanted to know about? Or the other way around? Will this turn out to be a healthy experience? Or just the opposite? The Danish movie Intet, English title Nothing, is shining a light on what might have come out of that situation. And if you want to know more about that, then join me for this quick review video. Reflecting way too deep on a philosophical question that was posed in class, pupil Pierre Anton concluded that nothing in life really matters. So he is just leaving school, climbing up a tree, and decided to just stay there for the rest of his life. Because nothing matters. As no one, including his classmates, are able to talk him down, his fellow pupils have an idea, and that is to prove to him that there are things that matter. For that reason, they are creating the heap of meaning, which basically means that each one of them has to sacrifice something that has meaning to them and put it on a pile. First, it starts quite easily and harmless, with someone putting their favorite sandals on the pile. But soon things escalate and go way beyond material stuff. Soon animal sacrifices are also considered, as well as the virginity of one of the classmates. This movie is the adaptation of a Danish novel with the same name, Intet, which also in book form was translated into other languages, including English, where it is also called Nothing, like the international English title of the movie. Since its creation, the book has created controversies, especially around young readers, resulting in it even being banned for a while in Danish schools, where it apparently now has become a standard literature to read in class. I have not read the book, but if a movie is a close adaptation, then you can understand where this all is coming from, because the movie really has a nihilistic undertone that is quite disturbing. Especially if you see kids stepping into areas where even a grown-up would feel uncomfortable and doing stuff that even for grown-ups would be taboo. It's a very uncomfortable movie because the topic is really uncomfortable. And the ending, which I will not give away here, is also not helping because it also just adds into the nihilism the whole movie is bringing across. But being uncomfortable doesn't necessarily mean that this is a bad movie. So let's have a little bit of a deeper look at it. Let's go through the standard points. First up, the acting. The kids in this movie are doing a really good job on portraying their parts. They're playing it quite natural, and even the most disturbing scenes are brought across in a way that you still believe them. All the technical aspects are also fine, like camera work and art direction. So let's have a closer look at the story then. As I said, the movie is quite disturbing and the plot is slowly getting darker and darker, cranking up the discomfort first slowly and then quite quickly. Almost too quickly to actually feel natural. And this is where the movie lost me a little bit, because while the tension is rising bit by bit, it is not really becoming that clear, at least not to me, while the kids were still playing along, with one of the big changes coming after one of the boys had to sacrifice his bike, and then he was asking for the virginity of one of his classmates, and everyone was telling her that she doesn't have to do it, and yet still she did. That was not really plausible to me, and I didn't see how she could have done it and how the others could have allowed it. So that was the first time that I felt a little bit thrown out of the story. But you still could kinda explain it because the kids were daring each other and were pushing each other's buttons. So even if it is not really plausible, at least you could somehow see it happening. But then there was a second thing that really threw me out. And that was the fact that some of the sacrifices apparently didn't even have to be done by the original person anymore. Let me give you an example. One of the kids was terribly afraid of blood, and that person was asked to sacrifice an animal, which is crazy and cruel enough, but then at the end of the day, they didn't even need to do it, because then someone else was doing it, and that apparently also counted as a sacrifice. How is it a sacrifice for one particular person if that person only has to stand outside a door, listening to an innocent animal dying, which they were supposed to kill due to their phobia of blood? So here at that point it obviously didn't make any sense anymore. It felt a little bit as if the plot was not concentrating on consistency anymore and only on the cruelties, which ultimately threw me off. From that point on, the movie had lost me. and for that reason I was basically not bothered anymore with what happens afterwards. Which included the end of a movie which for some viewers very likely will include the most shocking and controversial stuff the whole movie is offering. So now, before we go to the rating, let me ask you to like and share this video if you enjoyed it so far. And if you are no subscriber yet, maybe consider to change that. By also hitting the notification bell, you will get a heads up for most of my new videos. Now for the rating. Okay, I will try to keep it short here. Even though you cannot really use the words nice or entertaining for this one, because it was quite a tough watch, mainly for the reason that the protagonists are kids, otherwise the movie would have not shocked anyone, I would assume. I will go with that rating and score it with 6 out of 10 points. The main reason for this is that of course it was an interesting movie, so it should not be scored less than 5. But it is not a 7 yet, because it was just not able to take me by the hand and make me buy into what it was trying to sell me. And that was the idea that kids would really go that far, because it was not plausible, at least not in the way the movie was presenting it. Maybe the book is doing a better job here, but I'm scoring the movie and not the book, so that is what I say about it. And the same is true for the other issue I mentioned, that I still don't know why it would count as a sacrifice if it was not done by the person that was supposed to do it. Again, maybe the book is better here, but that is not our concern. What do you think? Do you think that kids really are going all the way if they are left to their own devices? Lord of the Flies style? Or is that whole concept a little bit condescending by having kids starting out with a great idea and then just spiraling into madness? Have you read the book by any chance and know if it is explaining things better than the movie? Whatever it is, just let me know in the comments. So much for now. See you next time and thanks for watching!